Evening guys, and this is the video I was speaking about earlier. So I'm Christian Thomson, again world champion and 5 times kickboxing champion, and with me today is Gareth Cox. Introduce yourself, Gareth.
Hi guys, my name is Gareth Cox. I originally trained as an osteopath and recently gone on to specialise in functional neurology, specifically using PDTR, which is what Christian uses, and now working within the EPIC approach, who also hosts that seminar.
Oh yeah, fantastic. So some of the people who will maybe watching this or may end up watching this may have heard me talk before about neurology and also the system PDTR. Some may have even experienced it, and some people may be very confused about what I've been talking about, and others may understand it a bit more in detail. But what we're going to go through today is a basics of what neurology is first, and then how PDTR works with neurology, or what PDTR is as well, and how the environment affects our neurology, which directly affects us, and exactly how we function and work in a day-to-day basis. So first off, Gareth, I'll open the floor to you to give us a bit more of a nice understanding of what neurology is, and then all about receptors and PDTR and how that works.
Yeah, okay, so let's start off with neurology. What is neurology? Neurology is basically the brain and the nervous system. This is your central nervous system, and then you've got your peripheral nervous system acting side by side. So in order for us to interpret the world, we need to take in information, and that information comes through our senses, and it comes through receptors, which are all over our body. A receptor is basically a specialized cell that takes in specific information. It may be about hot, cold, tickle, itch, sensation, every sensation you can imagine, sound, sight, smell. So that information gets taken in and it sends a message to our brain. If we can imagine the brain like a bit of a processing center, then that's got to interpret that information and make a decision based on that. So, for example, if I touch something hot signals get sent to my brain, they tell me there's a threat, the output is move your hand away. That's a simple analogy.
Yeah, so as well, I mean, of course we know this, but people watching probably won't know this, and how our brain interprets pain. So when we touch something hot, it's not exactly that we remove our hand due to pain, is it?
No.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we may feel pain, we may just feel that's starting to get a bit hot, and it's starting to become a threat, and that's why we remove our hand, and there's a withdrawal stimulus to that. But well, we both know about the amygdala. Just give us a small explanation about what, how we perceive pain and why.
So pain is an interpretation. Pain is not something that's produced in your body. It's something that's interpreted by your brain. So we get this huge amount of information being sent to our brain every second. It then has to process that and correlate it with its knowledge of past experiences, memories, and past traumas. So all of this cultivates together to produce an idea of, is this a threat? We have to remember that our body is set up to survive, and any time it senses a threat, pain is given in order for us to simply change our behaviour. So pain is like a warning signal.
Yeah, like a messenger, right?
Exactly.
So pain is a very important response, but and what I found in my experience as well is most people go around thinking they just have to live with pain. You know, there's a pain in their knee, and that's just life. Sucks, but you know, just get on. Just get on and do things. So knowing this, that pain is realistically just a messenger, and knowing this, that pain is a perception of something. Would you say it's accurate to say that 99% of pain is realistically quite easily dealt with once you know the core concept or core reason why?
If you can understand the true cause, then at least you've got a chance of eradicating it. And this is where PDTR comes in, because when we look at conventional therapy, most people are looking at what we describe as the hardware of the body, the structures. Have I broken it? Is it diseased? Is it ripped? Is it torn? If it's none of these, then most people say, well, there's nothing I can do. What we're trying to do is look at it from a software point of view. Is the information being sent to the brain accurate, and is it correct? If we're able to normalise this highly sensitive information, then the brain can receive more accurate information, deem there to be less of a threat, and therefore pain is reduced. So we're dealing with these software problems as compared to hardware issues.
Yeah, and those software problems can be exacerbated by any stimulus, correct?
Exactly.
So literally, like the sunshine today, it's been a hot day, and if you've got some form of temperature, heat receptor
Yeah.
dysfunction,
Exactly.
and the second you get heat put on that spot, the whole body's going to react poorly,
Yeah.
and that can affect your state quite badly. Now, we haven't really talked about states yet on this, so let's just use that as a nice segue to move into that.
Okay.
So, take me through our knowledge and our explanation of what hyperkineticity, global weakness, and multitasking is, just with a little bit of layman's terms as well.
Before I just go into that for one sec, just to
Yeah.
clarify what we were saying before, I think it's important to understand that if you, as the example that you used, on a hot day, so on a hot day you're stimulating hot receptors. If they are a problem or they're dysfunctional, then they may cause other things to happen. What we begin to understand is that there's a chain of compensation throughout our body. If I stimulate a hot receptor that's dysfunctional, it may then cause a compensation to need to happen to help it out, which may result in pain in anywhere, a knee, for example. So this is why the root cause is always important. So moving on from that, in regards to state, this is where state also plays a factor. So when we talk about state, we mean, another word would be your resourcefulness, if you like. How much can you handle? How much information can your brain handle at once? So for someone to be in a normally organised state, they should be able to take in and interpret the correct information, and they should also be able to inhibit those responses as we would like them to, basically. So hypertonicity is basically a protective state produced by the brain in order to protect yourself from further dysfunction or to withdraw you from a problem. For example, if my hand is here and I see something happen there, number one, I look there, and number two, I move my head there. If I know that there's often a trauma there, I may produce hypertonicity in places to either keep me there and stop me going away because I'm always trying to look there. So the body will set up its own compensation strategies.
Yeah, especially to remove as much problem as possible.
Exactly.
So, a little quick side note out of this as well. Something that I'm going to be talking about on the 13th is range of motion and why stretching is almost a waste of time. So I just want to touch on this a little bit quickly before we move on to the states and multitasking. So if we think about our body's natural responses, our body's natural compensators as a protection from a greater evil, when you're trying to stretch through a problem, you've got a tight muscle, and that could be a hypertonic muscle, stopping you from releasing that area because it needs to keep you here, because this is a compensation pattern to stop you falling for a greater evil. So, I mean, that's always something we want to keep in mind as well when we're looking at pain responses. It's very important. But yeah, so carry on with our explanation on state. Signaling positive thing. We've got hypertonicity. And take us to global weakness. So, I mean, what can happen with that?
Yeah, so when we look at people's ability to deal with a lot of information, we're essentially looking at how well they can multitask. Can you deal with lots of information at once? The less information that you can deal with at once, the lower your efficiency and the more susceptible you are to creating more dysfunction. If you can only handle, say, one or two things, and then you get bombarded with sensory information, that might become dysfunctional simply because you can't handle all that information. So we're always trying to get people to a higher multitasking level. Therefore, they're more efficient and are less likely to create more problems.
Yes. So the more information you can handle at once, the less problems you will potentially create in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. So, how many tasks really should you be able to handle at once?
It depends on a lot of different things, I guess. The more the better, but at the same time, the more we're multitasking, we also have to be mindful that we're going to be using more of our fuel and therefore using our resources. So the more the better, but at the same time, you need to be mindful of
how much you're pushing yourself.
Exactly.
But that is a possibility to improve your fuel tank, as it were, and to improve the amount of resources you have, and also to decrease the amount of resources needed to deal with certain scenarios by decreasing dysfunctions within the body. So if we can imagine getting to a state where we have a low level of dysfunction in the body, so our body is using almost no energy to keep us going on a daily basis. We have a large fuel tank, and we have a large number of we have a large amount of resources. We can then theoretically go all day without becoming tired. we're all
Yeah.
day with
Yeah.
great efficiency in everything we do, and being able to multitask
Mhm.
to no end. Realistically, the possibilities are currently endless, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
But that is a difficult place to get to.
Yeah, most people are starting off down here,
Yeah.
and we need to get them back to at least an optimal normal level before we can then
Yeah.
take them to a higher
In your
place.
experience, how many tasks can someone normally handle when they walk in the clinic for the first time?
Usually no more than 2, possibly
Yeah.
1, sometimes none.
Yes, yes. So something that we often see is adrenal fatigue.
Yeah.
Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, who doesn't want more energy, right? Everyone wants more energy. And adrenal fatigue is one of these massive issues that create energy problems.
Yeah.
So take us through some standard symptoms of adrenal fatigue quickly.
Yeah. So adrenal fatigue is pretty common.
Yeah.
Generally, you'll have a lot of tiredness. Some people suffer more in the morning or the afternoon slump, if you like. You'll have quite a lot of low blood pressure. Getting up, you'll get quite dizzy. Kind of riding that whole blood sugar wave. You can get pretty much any symptom: digestive upset, headaches, blurry vision. You name it, it will probably come back to
Yeah.
adrenal fatigue.
Well, my experience as well, a lot of food intolerances
Yeah.
link straight back to adrenal fatigue,
Quite often.
and sensitivity to light, of course. So sunny days like this, if
Yeah.
you're desperately needing your sunglasses, there could be a sign there. Not saying that's a definite thing, but for sure, some sensitivity to light is very common with adrenal fatigue.
Yeah, definitely.
So, firstly, where are the adrenal glands?
Yeah. So the adrenal glands are basically 2 little glands that sit on top of your kidneys. They're triangular-shaped glands that produce quite a lot of different hormones, including sex hormones, as well as what the one everyone tends to know is, which is cortisol, which
Yeah.
is a stress hormone. So stress hormone is related to what most people have heard of is the fight or flight response. So when you look at it from an evolutionary perspective, the body was built to survive. If a tiger came across and tried to eat you,
Yeah.
it was a life or death situation. You would release your stress hormone, which would allow you to deal with that threat, producing all the blood into the muscular system. Off you run, and then that threat ends. The problem in today's society is that we have a chronic level of lower level stress, but the adrenal glands are constantly
Yeah.
pumping out the cortisol.
Well, and not to mention that with all the chemical, food, emotional, structural problems we generate, like major surgeries, for instance,
Yeah.
this can cause constant stress in our system,
Yeah.
just through that
For
surgery.
sure. I think most people think of the word stress and they think of mental stress.
Yeah.
But to the body, there's not just mental stress.
Yeah.
There's physical stress, chemical stress, emotional stress. There's stressors.
Yeah. Something that I found very common is deodorant. Deodorant is obviously often a massive stressor
Yeah.
for people's systems. So imagine every morning you put on your deodorant and suddenly your system gets shaken up and your energy levels are depleted automatically.
Yeah.
And what do you expect?
Yeah.
But all right. Well, so we've covered a bit about adrenal fatigue.
Yeah.
What else do you think people should know?
It's difficult to know where to begin.
Yes, I think we've got a few more topics of conversation we're going to do in the later talks.
Yeah.
Again, about outside stimulus, not only from a neurological perspective, but from a psychological, from a biochemical, even down to a basic physics level.
Yeah.
How sunlight affects us, for instance, how water, cold affects us both positively and negatively.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I want to do is just remind you guys about how important our environment is to us, and how we need to take care about where we spend our day, what we do in our day, and how that affects us. Once we start recognizing these patterns, we can actually start making much better decisions on how to live our life and how to have more energy. So this is something that I will be going over on my talk on the 13th. But if any of you can't wait that long and need to see someone immediately, I suggest you go and see Gareth. He's down in Liverpool Street. He's just moved down to London, so he's just setting up practice. So it's a great time to go and see him before he gets too busy, because it's starting to happen already. All right, so you know, you don't want him to be fully booked before you go there. So Gareth, tell them how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, you can get in touch either through the website, which is www.theepicapproach.co.uk. That's probably your best bet. You'll find all of our email addresses and phone numbers on there.
Fantastic. So again, guys, can't wait. Go see Gareth, and if you find this talk interesting, please share it with your friends, like it, comment on it, ask any questions, and if you've got more questions, go to the Unleash Your Superhuman and Master Your Life event on the Facebook group or the Eventbrite, and you can ask all the questions there directly to myself and Gareth. I think you've got access.
Yeah, I'll
well.
also be answering any questions.
You can answer some questions there as well from anything that you want to direct to Gareth as well. And please do give him a call or an email. Go find out. Go have a consultation, because it's going to be very beneficial for you to get these things sorted out, especially if you think adrenal fatigue is one of your main after we spoke about today, if you think adrenal fatigue is something you may be suffering for, getting that screened and finding out exactly what your stresses are and how to fix yourself will completely change your life. If you want to look at someone else who has had treatment for adrenal fatigue,
there's 2 people sitting right here.
Well, there's 2 people sitting right here, but I've got a video testimonial on the description of the event page on the Facebook group and the Eventbrite group. And if you go click on that link, it sends you to a YouTube video of Virgis, who's a top body transformation coach who's just suffering from adrenal fatigue, tired every morning, low energy. You know, he had a problem. He had originally come to me the problem with his lats, but it ended up having profound results on not only the physical aspect that he wanted, but his energy levels and also his eyesight. But I'll let you go and watch that video and see for yourself. Again, please share the video. Thank you for watching, and that's it from us today. See you guys.
Take care.